What up, blessed team? How y'all doing today? I hope all is well, but most importantly, you are having a very productive week all day. And don't forget to check in with the people that you ultimately love, right? We're talking about your friends, acquaintances, people that really care about you, the ones that will actually be at your funeral. Definitely not me, unless you become best friends with me, then I might think about showing up, but it is vital that you do these things, right? Because we don't have that many chances with these people. And some of us, we forget that. Like, we really forget that, damn, like the last time you talked to your mom really could have been the last time you talked to your mom. Like, the last hangout that you guys had at your friend's house might have actually been the last time you all hang out. So just make sure that you really enjoy those moments. And when you have a little bit of time on the weekends, especially, spend those quality experiences with these people. Put your phone down for a little bit. You are going to be perfectly fine, right? So today we got a really robust topic, and this is one of those topics that I look forward to talking about because this is my avenue. This is my bag. Like, whenever we get a chance to talk about training, the gym, building muscle, losing weight, like, I'm in my comfort zone. Like, this is where I live, right? So you guys got a really good episode today. And if you read the title, we're talking about crafting an ultimate guide, right? To help you beginners, especially to build quality muscle as well as maximize your overall recovery, right? So I'm gonna give you a few tips that you can incorporate going forward to help you structure a really good routine that you can sustain for the rest of your life. Now, before we dive into any of these, I want to take a moment to talk about, if you are coming across my podcast for the first time, my mission, my goal with this podcast is to inspire 1 billion people to become the best version of themselves through insightful conversations about fitness, nutrition, as well as personal growth advice, right? So we don't simply want you to lose weight. We don't want you to just build muscle, but we spend a lot of time talking about practical habits that you can incorporate to help you sustain those great benefits that you got as a result of training, exercising, and actually building those quality muscle. And we also want to make sure that you'll be able to accomplish your future objectives, your dreams, and your goals. So if you lack confidence and you want to gain confidence, or overall you seem like your life is chaotic and you want to have a level of structure to it, you came to the right podcast. If you want to lose weight, you came to the right podcast. And if you definitely want to build muscle, this is the one for you, right? We spend a lot of time every single week on Thursday at 1 o'clock. One of these episodes comes out on all podcast platforms that you like to listen to your podcast on. And I believe every time you listen to one of these episodes, you are going to learn something that's going to be valuable in the end. All right. We're not even going to waste too much time. We're going to dive straight into it. One thing that's actually been happening to me, and I want to talk about it real quick before we dive into anything. Lately, when I go to the gym, I notice I'm extremely tired. I'm not really sure if it's something to do with the fact that I'm getting older. Maybe. I highly doubt it. Let me know if it's something that you also experience as well, because for the past 3 days, I mean, I just be so tired, exhausted. I barely can do my cardio. It seems like my energy is not there. And I'm taking pre-workouts ahead of time now. Don't get me wrong. I'm still training extremely hard. Like, I'm showing up, doing what I'm supposed to do. Just a sidebar that I wanted to talk about. But first, before we dive into crafting a solid routine, I need you to understand a few things when it comes to building muscle. So many people have a really misconception of what building muscle is, right? So there's a few things I want to make sure you understand. First, building muscle is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. There's no way you're going to go to the gym for 3 weeks and then 3 weeks later, you look at your muscles, you're looking like the biggest man on the planet. That is not what happens. You see, genetics is different for everyone. Some people go to the gym for 6 months and they start noticing results. Some people, after 3 weeks, they start seeing results. But for the average people like us, we might have to train for like a few years before we see results. So you need to understand that you need a certain level of consistency and discipline if you are going to be able to get your results that you're looking for, right? So you have to really be cognizant of this. And I wanted to put this out there. Yeah, you can eat all the protein you want. You can dial in on your diet. You can push your body all you want in the gym. But ultimately, you have to make sure that you are maintaining the disciplines and being patient as possible while you still work hard, because it might possibly take you a lot longer than you thought it was going to be. Now that we got that out of the way, the first point that I want to talk about in terms of crafting a quality training regimen to build muscle is having dedicated days. This is something that I see so many beginners make a huge mistake when it comes to doing this. You see, when you start training, you have to understand that Muscle building is going to cause your muscles to be so sore. And especially if you already have not been training before that, or you haven't been lifting weights before that, and you decide to go to the gym 5 days a week or 6 days a week, I'm telling you right now, you are not going to be able to train the following week. And you really don't want to push yourself that much. We want to make sure that we develop that level of consistency and discipline. And once we get better at actually training and understanding how to train properly, then guess what? We can scale up to 3 days or 4 days or 5 days or whatever works for you. But at this very moment, just look at your schedule. Maybe you can go to the gym only twice a week. Maybe you can show up in the gym for only 3 times a week. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, when I started, I remember I used to go to the gym for 10 minutes, right? Because I just wasn't so used to showing up in the gym every time. I'm used to walking around. I'm used to jogging sometimes, but going to the gym, it literally felt like something that was very boring. So the best thing I would tell you all beginners when you start lifting weights is allocate days. Don't even kill yourself at all. So let's say you have 2 days a week or 3 days a week. Just consistently show up every single week, and your training doesn't have to be intense. You don't have to push past failure. You don't have to go excessive. Remember, we are trying to establish a routine, something that will last us for the long term. We're not just trying to go to the gym for the sake of going to the gym and build muscle for like a week or two, or trying to get some special body for the summer. That's not what we're trying to do. We are trying to build muscle and have a methodology that we can sustain for the rest of our life. This is vital, especially if it's going to take a long time for you to build muscle. Again, do not kill yourself. Allocate a little bit of time, whether it's 2 days a week, 3 days a week, or 4 days a week. That way you have plenty of time to recover in between workouts. All right. Now that we already have established days where we're going to train, that way we can get the right recovery, we have to make sure that we have the proper nutrition. And that is number 2. You see, you can train as hard as you want, but if you don't have the right balanced nutrition, it is going to cost you. And you probably are not going to maximize your overall performance when it comes to your health. So remember, I didn't say you should have a diet for a reason. I did that on purpose. I want you to understand that, yes, we're talking about building muscle. So I am aware that you want to make sure you eat the right amount of protein, which in this case, I recommend about having a gram per pound of body weight. You guys can convert that into kilograms if you want to. But as long as you're getting that amount, you should be good. But I also want you to be cognizant of the fact that ultimately we want to be healthy, right? It's not just building muscle and other organs in our body is not functioning properly. No, that's not the point. Like if I'm actually taking care of my health and if I'm taking fitness very serious and I'm training extremely hard to build muscle, I don't just want to build muscle to look cool. I want to look good, but I also want to feel good and ultimately prolong my longevity as far as my cognitive function is concerned. These are all vital. And that's why I'm saying it is important to have a balanced nutrition. You might ask, Sam, how does that look like? First, you want to make sure that your diet includes a lot of vegetables. You want to make sure that your nutrition includes a lot of fruits. And then you can get all your proteins as well. Now, don't forget about carbohydrates. They all serve a purpose. And if you can get in some vitamins, some zinc, anytime you cannot eat any of these food groups, I strongly suggest that you find a way to supplement them, right? These things are going to pay off, especially if you are going to build muscle. Go to the gym, train hard, and make sure you have a solid overall nutrition. One of the best ways I tell people to do, especially for beginners, is meal prep. I know. Some of you are going to tell me, Sam, but it takes a lot of time. It's too much work. I don't have time to meal prep. But there are so many things in our life that we can't control. There are so many occasions that we're going to be in that we are going to be forced to eat foods that's not in alignment with our health goals. So I always tell people, if you really want to dial in and stay consistent with your overall nutrition, for the long term, then I strongly suggest that you meal prep. There's no way around it. You're trying to craft a good workout routine to maximize your muscle growth and recovery. Why wouldn't you meal prep? Like, it is so much easier to have your foods already done. I tell my girlfriend the same exact thing. If you have foods prepped already, you're not going to go spend extra money somewhere else. Like, why would you even do that to yourself? You have plenty of food available, which are healthy for your goals. Why not eat those foods? So find a way to have a balanced diet, meal prep, get your fruits, get your vegetables, get adequate amount of carbohydrates, the vitamins, zinc, the list goes on and on. I just want you to have a balanced diet, right? Don't just think about, oh, I need to build muscle, so all I should be eating is protein. Yes, maximize your muscle growth by getting in about a gram per pound of body weight of protein. That should be okay. But it doesn't mean you can't eat some vegetables. Like, vegetables is not going to kill you. And fructose, I know there's so many people out there that are fructose is so bad for you. Okay, you know what? Eat some fruits. You will be perfectly fine. Before we dive into the last thing on the list, right? This is what I'm going to say. You do not have to go to the gym to build muscle. I'm going to say that again. You do not have to go to the gym to build muscle. When it comes to your overall training, one of the main things I recommend you do is to train extremely hard whenever you get better. When you're a beginner, slowly ease yourself into your training program. Now, you might decide to do back on some days. You might decide to train chest on some days. You might decide to do legs on certain days. It's perfectly fine. I just want you to make sure that every time you show up, you are progressively overloading the type of weights and training you're doing. You can progressively overload with more reps, or you can go more weights. Now, if that was your first week training, there is no reason to push yourself crazy. Focus on understanding how to really train effectively, time and attention, mind muscle connection, controlling the reps through the range of motion, and maximizing the muscle tearing process. Because obviously we all know at this point that when you train, you actually tear the muscle. And when you eat healthy or get the right amount of protein, your body actually get time to recover. And then also do not forget that your meal planning is the one thing that will save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and help you remain consistent as you wait for the muscle growth process to happen and your overall recovery itself. Like, people that have great diets or great nutrition, they recover a lot faster, especially if they combine that with the last thing that we're going to talk about. The last thing that we are going to talk about to really help you craft a solid overall routine to build muscle and maximize recovery is sleep. Now, you can train all you want. You can eat all the great foods. You can get all the protein. But if you are not sleeping, first and foremost, right? Listen, I'm not saying get 8 hours of sleep. If you can, that would be fantastic. But when it comes to muscle growth, right, that is something I had to really learn later on. Probably I would say 3 to 4 years into my training. The more that I slept, one, I felt better during training. Two, I realized I could train longer. So my endurance got better. And then three, you are able to build muscle a lot faster. Remember, the real muscle growth itself does not happen while you are up. It happens when you are asleep. I cannot stress enough how vital it is for you to find a way to get rest. Even if it's like power naps, even if it's 20 minutes of sleep, 30 minutes of sleep, 40 minutes of sleep. I mean, these days are all going to compound and give you the best results as well as your overall performance, even during the day. Like I said before, you're just going to feel better when you train. You're going to be able to go longer during your trainings because a lot of people, they get so tired after like doing like 3 reps or 4 reps or 5 reps. They don't have the endurance. Get adequate sleep. And I'm telling you, your life is going to change. Before we get out of here, as always, I'm going to give you all the quote of the week. But before we dive into that, I want you to understand something. If you listen to these things, clearly you need help crafting a system for you to be able to build muscle and maximize recovery. Don't waste your time. It's not that hard. Just have dedicated days of training. Find a way to meal prep so that way you have a very balanced nutrition, and make sure that you make your overall nutrition as diverse as possible. Have a lot of fruits, have a lot of veggies, carbohydrates, fats, the good fats, like if you can really do all these things and you can combine that with quality sleep, you are going to build muscle. And by the way, if you feel like you need some help with tracking calories, let me know. I can make a video about that as well. So y'all, let me know in the comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. I got y'all. I'll take care of that for you because I know some of you struggle. And also, if you need help shopping for the right foods to actually eat to maximize muscle growth, I got you covered as well. Now, the quote of the week is one that I believe will change your life. And I need you to really remember this. You might not remember the dedicated days of training and training hard and pushing past failure and finding ways to get better week by week. Or you might not remember meal prepping and dialing in on your nutrition, making sure you're having a balanced diet. You might not remember that it's important to sleep, but this you have to remember. The quote of the week is, it is awesome to build muscle, but it is even better to be healthy for the rest of your life. It is awesome to build muscle, but it is even better to be healthy for the rest of your life. Listen, I love building muscle. I love training to build muscle. I love the methodology, the processes that you go through. I just think building muscle is it's a cult by itself, pretty much. But I don't just want to build muscle. I'm getting older. I want to be healthy. I want to feel better. I want to look better. But when I'm 70, 80 years old and I can't lift any weight, or if I'm 90 and I can't push any more weight, I want to make sure that I can walk by myself. That's important to me. And I want you to never forget that. That's why we train. We want to feel good, but ultimately we want to be healthy. Never let that escape you, regardless of what your reason was before you started training. I hope you found a lot of value in this video. And honestly, I should even stop saying that because I know you found a lot of value. If you really found a way to allocate the days to train, if you meal prep by shopping for the right groceries, making sure you're having a balanced diet, and then you get an adequate sleep about 7 to 8 hours every single night, you are going to capitalize and maximize your muscle growth as well as recovery. Share this with someone that could use it. I know a lot of you like to keep these great messages to yourself. But it's not a coincidence that you listening to this episode. It's not just for you. You know a friend, you know a family member that don't know exactly how to establish a routine to train. I just gave you a few steps that you can modify. Remember, this is a guideline. So you can structure it where you go into the gym twice a week, or 4 days a week, or 3 times a week. Or maybe you cannot meal prep on Sunday. Maybe you can only meal prep on Monday. Or maybe you can't sleep 8 hours a day, but you can take power naps. You see where I'm going with this? You are going to use this guideline as a way to structure a system, a regimen that works for you. So share this with someone that ultimately could use it. I know there's a lot of people out there. Now, before we get out of here, stay blessed. And most importantly, stay out of trouble. And until next episode, I want to say thank you so much. And I'm going to catch you all next week.